Hey guys, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast, brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today, I got a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Taz Ellett from Wichita, I can't even say it, Taz, Wichita Falls, Texas. Taz, welcome to the show. What's up, man?
Hey man, it's a great day here in Wichita Falls. Sun is shining after some rain. It's beautiful outside. I've been on a listing appointment, and I've got a client that I'm meeting, a buyer right after this that's hot and ready. So, hey, it's a great day.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I've been looking forward to this appointment because, man, you're very inspiring. I'm my walk with God is not new, but it's a fairly more of a commitment here in the last couple of years. And with you having that background with man of faith and everything else, let's kind of talk about that. So, I know you started your real estate journey in 2011? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. After really about 25 or 30 years in youth ministry, and just getting to the point where, God, it was, I hate to say it, but getting a little old,
Yeah.
and wanted to chase my own kids at home that were growing up, and I could see I was going to be losing some of the important time with them, and I said it was just time for me to change gears a little bit, and my heart's still there a lot, and in youth ministry and ministry, but it was time to change gears, and so I chose to go into real estate, which has a story behind it as well.
Let's hear the story, because it's
Well,
as a man of God, you're serving the people, and as a realtor, you're still serving the people. So let's hear it.
all right. Well, there was many years ago. There's a little skinny kid showed up in youth group as a sixth grader, and developed a great relationship with he and his family, and just ministering to he and his family, and just throughout the years of youth ministry there. And then, as he grew up, graduated from Baylor and returned back to Wichita Falls, started working in real estate with his grandparents. And I was actually using him as a realtor because it was time for me to find another home. We had outgrown our 1,800 square foot home with four grown teenagers in the house. And next thing I knew, after about a year of looking and not being sure, it was time for me, I know, to move on from youth ministry. So I told him, we need to put it on hold probably for a while. And he said, well, what's up? And I said, well, I haven't told anybody but my pastor, but I'll tell you because you're my realtor and friend. Great relationship. I said, I'm thinking about stepping down from youth ministry. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't have a clue. I just know it's time to move on. And he said, well, let's talk. And then the rest is history. He actually, being a great, I guess, shoe on the other foot mentor, he actually took me in and said, hey, here's an opportunity in what I'm doing and where I'd like to go in our business, but I want you to visit with these other men in the community that were movers and shakers. And he said, let them know that you're moving on and see what might open up. So he was really watching out for me in the big picture, and really set me before some great individuals that could speak into me and lean into me, and knew my family and had great potential of maybe doing things. But in the long run, I chose to stay with Ashton Gustafson as the broker and owner here, and do real estate. And the rest is history. And that was about 15 years ago, and never looked back.
Well, that's awesome. So, did you just, because, real estate is 100% commission, Taz, did you just take the plunge and say no more ministry, or did you kind of do both for a little bit until you got some?
I just took the plunge, which I tell you what, that is a big step. As a matter of fact, some of my friends said, man, if you're going to do that, you better have a lot of money stored up in the bank or whatever else. But that is where I stepped in with the broker that I already had a relationship with, that was really a kid I raised in the youth group, that then, it worked for me. They watched out for me and they took care of me. Leads and opportunities. He had a great business that he was building and growing here, and was kind of covered up. And I just started shadowing him, and he would just give me, he said, follow up with this, follow up with this. And I learned as I went, and it's just a blessing. Wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but it worked for me. And a lot of it had to do with just the type of relationship that we already had. And I have to thank the Lord for it every day, because it was
Well, I was gonna
be the
say
craziest move you could ever make otherwise.
let's give it to the person that took that's in charge of everything. That's God. I mean, that's does your wife work? Did she work at the time?
She does not. She does not. And that
Yeah.
was another big thing. Uh, we really felt strongly, and to tell you the truth, I don't know how we did it, but the Lord provided, and I don't know how people do it today, but we chose that my wife would be home with the kids,
Yeah.
and she didn't homeschool, but was very involved in their lives and everything as well. And we just decided we'd rather drive the old cars that mine didn't even have air conditioning in North Texas at the time. It was a Jeep though, so it was pretty cool. The perfect youth director vehicle, right? With no
Right.
top. It was great. But, you know, we made those choices because it was right for our family, and no regrets and no looking back on that at all. So,
Well, the fact that you're the sole breadwinner for your family, a family of four, and to step into real estate 100% commission. They say most people, most of the time, they say have 6 months worth of reserves whenever you join the real estate business, so that you can kind of it's kind of learn as you go along. Because it takes it's not like you sell a transaction and you make money the next day. It's a 30, 60, 90-day process before you can start revenue and up and stuff. So it's just you had a lot of faith, a lot of
I
faith.
did, and I might also add. Now I do think about it as I think back. I just lost my parents. They died about 18 months apart, and
Wow.
so that did help some. Although we didn't come from a wealthy family, but golly, when you're a youth minister, I mean, every little bit is just it's a windfall. It's incredible. So it did give me a little bit of security, that. But if I'd known kind of if I know now what or what I should have known then, I I would have been a lot. I probably wouldn't have been able to fall asleep at night, because this is a eat what you kill
Yeah.
career, and but that is also, I'm a worker. I'm highly relational, and I just had a good community. The fact that I was a youth minister of a fairly large church and area, um, knew a lot of people in the community. So even though more of them knew me than I knew them, if that makes sense, the congregation knows the staff a lot of the time, but it's almost impossible to know everybody that's out there or to see their faces. So it was a unique position, and man, I've just been blessed.
That's awesome, man. I just love the story. So 2011 to now 2025. I've seen your production report, Taz. You're doing okay. We really don't talk about production or whatever, but you're the market's been kind of slow the last couple of years, but I don't see it in your production. You've you've had some pretty consistent growth here in the last 3 or 4 years. What do you attribute that to?
Um, there again, I think in the way that I was trained and taught, it's because I'm not a big social media person, and one, blessings just for sure, but two, I think it's the contacts. I was taught basically it's the touches that you make in people's lives, staying connected to the relationships that you already have, and just staying in touch with them. And as the way Ashton would put it, the broker that I came to work for, he said, look for ways to tastefully show up in people's lives. And that's kind of in a sense what I'd always done through ministry as well, is You just show up to a kid's ball game and you're just there, you're where they are, but tastefully showing up for people's lives with something meaningful. I mean, it could be that you bump into someone in the grocery store and say, "Hey, David, man, it sure was great bumping into you at the store yesterday. I'm glad we had a chance to catch up. Hadn't seen you in a while. Hope you and the kids are doing great." Whatever, and it's dropping them a line, and just staying in touch so that when it comes for time for you or for someone to sell a home, they go, I'm gonna I'm gonna reach out to Taz. He stays in touch. An unexpected handwritten note, which nobody does anymore, but I'm pretty old school. um, it means a lot to people, and I literally keep a lot of responses that I've had from people in a folder, just them writing me back. Wow, I haven't seen a handwritten letter in forever, or a card. Thank you for that, or a text or whatever. And I, I don't know. And then you're the first person on their lips when they're sitting down and out to dinner with somebody that you may not even know, but they're thinking about selling a home. Oh, well, you know what? I know a great guy. I mean, he even writes handwritten notes. I mean, he stays in touch with you. He sends us a Christmas card, and we've never even bought or sold a house from him. But use Taz. And, oh, I know Taz, or, oh, yeah. And I don't know. That's the only thing that I contribute to that and the good Lord just watching over me. But I've been blessed. I really have.
I'll share with you. So the number one car salesman in the world ever in recorded history, his secret was handwritten notes. So every single day he would be lined up with people out the door waiting for him to sell them a car. And he built his entire business over the course of, I think he only was doing it for like a decade. But it was just all through handwritten notes. It's a lost
Mm-hmm.
art. I'm in a coaching program, and we send out handwritten notes. Just, hey, just want to say thank you for doing business with us, or hey, I love the call. It's just, it's a lost art. No one does that anymore. I mean, it's because it's the thoughtfulness. It's you took the time out of your day to actually handwrite something whenever you could have just text it or whatever. Drop in the mail, put a stamp on it and everything. It's special. So it's definitely a lost art, and I can see why you doing it makes a huge part of what you're doing out there to be successful.
Yeah, it
So
is. It's kind of a lost art anymore, it seems like, and it's something that sticks out
yeah,
because we just don't. We're used to getting tons of junk mails and bills, and then all of a sudden there's something that's hand addressed, and then handwritten. It just seems to go a long ways. It really does.
well, it does. So let's just take the average person. You get a stack of junk mail. If you're anything like me, I take the junk mail in this pile. I don't even open it if I know it's junk mail. But if I see a handwritten note, it goes over here with the bills or whatever, because I'm going to open it and see what's going on with it.
Yeah, no doubt. And you even see junk mail is trying to get very sophisticated here, and they're even making it look like it's handwritten, on the outside, but you can tell it's not when you've seen enough of them. But because they know that there's something there too, that's what draws people. So we all revert back to that. I mean, it just feels good inside, when you get something from somebody that's taken time to handwrite. So I don't know. It's often with so many realtors out there to choose from, you want to be the last, or you want to be the first person that comes to mind to a person who, when they think about listing a home. There's 400 realtors in Wichita Falls, in a town
It's
of
crazy
100.
because that's not a big town. What's
It's
the population size?
Or about 105,000.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, we had 230 realtors. Now we have over 400. So we've doubled basically through the COVID years because of the spike in the market. So even more so, you have to find ways to I think, creep into your sphere of influence and to be up there. And it's not it's not always trying to build that new sphere, although there's a lot of realtors. I just can't keep up with that. With the social media and everything, it is where I need to go, and I'm breaking into that because we need to have that opportunity as well. But it's trying to be real creative and staying now, making sure I'm trying to write more notes. Wrote a couple. I went to a function last night. Uh, the MC of the event, I know, not well, but I know, and they did a fantastic job. So this morning, guess what? I looked up them on the tax rolls, found out where they lived. I wrote a handwritten note, said, "Hey, you did a great job last night as, the MC and host. Thank you for," and wrote them a personal note. Also, the lady that was behind the event putting it on for a ministry here in town, I wrote her as well. So, you look for ways to tastefully show up in people's lives, and those are opportunities. One day, they're probably going to sell a home, or they're going to know somebody who does. The MC actually happens to be a dentist. I can't imagine how many people, she has captive in her audience every day in a chair, and dentists are always talking small talk, at least mine does. And what's going on? Oh, we're thinking about moving. Oh, well, you ought to use Taz Ellett. I mean, that's how it could happen. But the motive behind it is not just real estate. The motive behind it was she actually did a fantastic job, and I let her know that.
Yeah. Because you're
Worst case
genuine, Dad.
scenario, she feels better today or
Yeah.
tomorrow when she gets it in the
Right.
mail.
Because you're genuine. So let me ask you this. How your past client database, was it 14 years of doing this? How often do you touch your past client database? Do you call them
I
annually?
text, I do call some, I do call them some, I text them some, I handwrite them some. I will try to send just about every one of them. I can't send every one of them, but most of them. I look at whether or not they still live in town or if they were sellers that have moved on, but they'll get a Christmas card every year. Just a Christmas card. And on that Christmas card, yes, the cheesy photo of me, maybe with the bishop logo at the bottom or whatever like that. But I have to start early on the back side with my big black Sharpie, a personal note to everyone.
Yeah.
And it maybe is not long, but it's a personal. It may include their address, or it may include their kid's name, or it may include something, but to let them know that I'm specifically thinking of them and that I know them, and that I'm aware of what's going on in their world. Or, hey, drove by your house the other day and I saw you cut down that dead tree that was in the backyard. Sun shines brighter now, doesn't it? And they go, wow, he noticed that. So that might be just an incident. It might be on the back of the card. And by the way, Merry Christmas and hope you have a blessed New Year. So it's just touches. I don't know what else to kind of call
Well,
them
you
other
said it
than that.
best. Tastefully touching base. It's not just calling just to ask how they're doing. It's not you're genuine, Taz. It comes across as very genuine. My only advice is I would say this. I'm in a coaching program with the top 1% of loan originators in the United States. And part of our coaching program is we actually touch our past client database 4 times a year. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much they like you, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's
That's
our
right.
real estate business is very much the relevant right now. You'd be surprised how many times you call them and they just, even though they love you and they want to use you and they would give you 5-star reviews, something comes up and they haven't talked to you since last year on the Christmas card and it goes to someone else. It's because it's people that are top of mind, and you got a great business, like I said. So, it's the marketing aspect of it to our business is, how many people have you missed out on because they forgot about you, or someone else was present or whatever. So,
Yeah.
there's definitely there's definitely stuff in your past client database that you could tap into because you're at this point you're 100% sphere. You don't do any paid leads or anything like that, right?
Right. Yeah. Um, but and you're exactly right. Just going back to that and just reiterating that point a little bit. But that is what I saw my broker, Ashton Gustafson, model that. And, you know, it was like preaching to the choir. He said, this is what you need to do. And just show up in people's lives tastefully and
Yeah.
usually through a handwritten note. And that's what I try to do. He does a great job at doing that. I think I do a good job, but and trying to increase and do better. Um, so I'm getting more intentional about that, getting more creative on how to do that, realizing that Wichita Falls is a pretty small little town, and in any given week, I've been in quite a few neighborhoods and have driven by a lot of different clients' properties and remember, oh yeah, I sold that house and oh that one, oh I remember them, and I'm trying to make more of a note of it then and just say, if there's something that can stick out, I look for reasons to, hey, the new fence in the backyard looks great, or uh, I saw your kids out front in the driveway making chalk art. I can't believe how much they've grown. You look for ways of showing up in people's lives. And, honestly, it makes me feel good. And I know it makes them feel good. And I'm sure business comes from that. But if not, worst case scenario, we both feel better, right? So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, tell me this, Tass. What's something about you that people don't know, that they can't find on Google or LinkedIn or social media, that you want to share with the world?
Well, I'm about to be a grandfather 8 and 9 times over within the next few days. As a matter of fact, we're planning to go down. Um, my wife will be going down Sunday night, and I'll be going down Monday after my inspection is done in a home that we just got in contract. And she said, "Can't you come Sunday night?" And I said, "No, I want to be there for the walkthrough with my client. That's that's important to me, and grandkids are too. But that baby that probably won't be born until the afternoon or evening." My wife said, "Okay, that'll be fine." So that's something they may not know. So I'm a grandfather, will be in the next couple of days with 2 more coming 9 times over. I go by chief. So I have my own tribe, so to speak, but I have some Native American ancestry going way back. So I pulled chief out of that, and
What
it
is
just
your wife's
works.
name for the
Uh,
grandkids?
Ellie, so kind of short for. A lot of times, my kids' friends would call her Mama Ellett. Mama Ellett, because I mean, we just, we had so many kids involved in our lives and in our home, and our kids' friends would come over or whatever, but everybody just sort of called her Mama Ellett. I mean, we'd have the team dinners at our house. We were involved in our kids' lives, and we'd sit there, and you better keep your doors locked because kids would just walk into the home, at lunchtime or
Yeah.
whatever. Just count on it showing up. So you'd have to keep the garage door down, or if the garage door opened up, it means anybody could walk through at any one time. But that was great. But so we just kind of went off of that Mama Ellett, and we just called her Ellie. They shortened it kind of down to Ellie, and so that's what the grandkids call her, Chief and Ellie.
Chief Finelli. That's so. I have some friends that that's a big name. No one goes by grandma and grandpa anymore. It's the name that you're gonna pick for your grandkids. So I have to ask, is it better? Is it better having the grandkids than your own kids? That's a hard
Oh,
question.
uh, you know, I always heard that, and you don't understand it until you are one, I guess, and
Yeah.
then you realize, yeah, it's great. And so we're empty nesters now after raising 4 kids, 3 of them whom are married, where the 9 grandkids come from. Um, we love this stage of life, empty nesters, but at the same time, we have such a desire to be with our kids as well. And they all live 2 hours away, with the exception of one who's in Denver, Colorado. So he's about 10 hours away, but all the grandkids are about 2 hours away. and we love to get away on the weekends as much as we can. And that's hard to do as a realtor.
It
It's hard
really
to do
is.
as a realtor. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
is. So as you build a good relationship with folks, and often, it's not always good to play that grandfather, chief role type deal and say, hey, I'm going to be out of town visiting grands. Maybe they'll wait on you, but you got to know your clients, and maybe they can't. And if not, we've got a great team here at the Bishop Group. We cover for each other. We just do. We just go, hey, can anybody, show this client coming in today, or show them one home? I've shown them 4 already. We've got a smaller office that we seem to be very selective in who we bring on, because we're trying to develop a particular culture here in the office. I'm now one of the owners of the Bishop Group. So Ashton, the broker, who came on, his parents, grandparents actually owned when I started. And then myself, 3 other realtors, and Ashton, who is the broker, the 5 of us bought them out about 3 years ago. And we're slowly but surely turning the ship around, and feeling our own way through a little bit. But one of them is just trying to develop that culture of, hey, we're here for one another. We don't necessarily want to grow big and wide. We want to be able to kind of grow with depth. And so we're smaller and deeper, and any agent can call any other agent just about, and they're going to step up to the bat and not necessarily expect anything. It's a wonderful place to be in.
Well, you know what's weird? Did any of your kids follow the real estate path?
And even what? Follow the...
Real estate. Did any of your kids follow you into real estate?
Oh, no, my kids didn't. I have an attorney, a doctor of physical therapy. And then I also have, well, now she was on staff at a church, but now that she's married and raising kids, the girls I have 2 boys and 2 girls. The 2 girls are now stay at home, and one's was a doctor of physical therapy, and the other one was on staff at a church. But they're kind of following mom, Ellie's footsteps. And once they started having kids, they're blessed enough to be able to stay at home too. And sure, that's a tough decision to do that, especially, a physical therapist was in her dream job and loves it. But after 3 kids, she said, I got to stay home. I got to stay home. So they're at home. So now kind of 2 housewives, even though they're both professionals, and then my son's an attorney, and the other one actually works with a construction company, just got a job helping be an adjuster and working with them in a kind of a startup.
That's awesome. Did you say your construction company?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
It's it's a construction company with Denver, kind of a startup, but they're needing someone with his level. He was an adjuster in the past, and they're needing somebody to move through in that career a little bit with them, with all the stuff that's going on. And they chose him. So he's excited. So we're going to see how that works out for him in Denver there. But
so Taz, let's talk about how what your future holds. I don't hear any retirement plans.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would do it tomorrow if I could, but at the same time, I'd be giving up a lot. Being an owner too, and trying to help build a culture here, there's a responsibility I feel like that I have, and helping build something that allows people to flourish like I did, and I want that for them. So that's even still kind of having that continue. It's not always so much about me, but can we provide a place here that's going to continue to allow people to work and to have a job and to be successful and to make a living for their family so that they can grow. Because to be honest with you, I'd love to spend all the time with grandkids or up in the panhandle at our place and hunt and fish and the outdoors. I love that. But the ownership here too comes with some responsibility that I feel as well.
Well, let's
In
just
real
go
estate, to be
biblical.
honest with you, we can do it as long, Ashton's grandparents who once owned, who we bought this from, they're in their mid 80s. They're still in the office every day, and they're still doing a lot of business because, and we're grateful. We're growing as a business because of that. They know everyone in town because they've been in town all their lives. And all the people their age are what? Downsizing and or moving on. They've got that market. That's going to be me one day. All the people that are my age, that are young grandparents that are going to be retired and move, keep in contact with those people and be that source and resource in the community. And it's something you can do until you can't get up out of bed anymore if you wanted to. So it's a great career
Well, I
with
think it
some
also keeps you
longevity.
young and it keeps you active. I hear so many people that when they retire, death's door is not too far away because they lose their purpose. Even in the
Yeah.
Bible it says men were made to work. We're whatever. In biblical times, these guys were 300-400 years old working till the day they left this
All
earth.
right. That's
So.
exactly right.
So that's awesome. Well, Taz, man, this has been a pleasure. I could talk to you all day long, but we'll have a second podcast after this at the end of the year to see how things are going and to catch up with you. But I know you got another buyer or show some houses later on today, and you got to get out there this weekend before you go see those grandbabies. What should we have talked about that we didn't talk about today?
Oh, honestly, I guess it's something, this is a topic you could go on for with ever, but I believe one thing that I'm learning, because this is something that real estate is something you can never get your mind completely around. It's ever changing. There's no way everybody can know it all, right? It's just constantly changing. So it's a challenge. It's a great challenge, and it's a wonderful field to be in. But one thing that I'm learning more and more is that I'm going to have to adjust a little bit more to all the AI that's out there and the opportunities and the social media and the things that are only going to keep me sharp. And I think I need to do that to help lead this office. And I'm trying to get there, even though I'm very old school. I'm going to try to get there. So, and that's one reason I'm kind of visiting with you too, is you sort of challenged me in that way, and I know it's coming. And I can either sit back and say, I'm not going to have any of that though, or I can realize that I can help lead even in this office by stretching myself just a little bit and maybe encouraging others and trying to learn the way they're learning as well so that I can help them flourish in their business. But
Well,
grateful
let
to
me
you
give
though, and your time.
let me give you one last gift.
All
So our
right.
videographer is independent. So one of the things that I do for my podcast guests is I pay for a consultation for you to talk to him. He does everything from creating CRMs to web pages to AI connections to to give you an idea, our CRM, if someone texts or emails, AI answers it. In fact, we're replicating it now to it'll answer your voice on phones and stuff like that. So if you ever want
Awesome.
to, set up a time or whatever, it's on me. It's that consultation is taken care of, and who knows? So keep that in mind. Keep that in the ball back of whenever you want something like that. Just let me know, and we'll connect you guys.
That would be great.
Okay. Well, Taz, if the good people of Wichita Falls wants to find you, and I know they do, because who wouldn't want Taz as their realtor? How they find you? How they get hold of you?
Probably the best way, I always have the cell phone with me, and I mean, it's always nearby. The best way to reach me is through my cell, either call or text. That's 940-636-8175.
And if you were watching this live, folks, you saw that go across the lower thirds. And I know this, if I'm looking for real estate in the Wichita Falls area, there's one man I'm calling, and that's Taz Ellett. A man of God, a good man, a granddad, chief. I want you to want to spend some time with him. So thanks for being with us today, guys. I'm David Wynn. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. That's it.